Okay, what's going on, everybody? This is Rob, E.T.N, and I'm here with Damian Bravo, who has planned and is the host for this live stream. However,
We're both hosts. We're both. Not me. We're both.
we're doing this on E.T.N because, fortunately, there was a little bit of a connection error with, I guess, with on your end when we were testing it earlier. So we tried it on my end.
Florida's a pain in the ass with that.
All right. Yep. Joshua is going to be with us shortly. He's going to be our wrangler for questions. So he'll be joining us about 10 minutes after 9 o'clock. And he'll be the one that's going to keep an eye on the chat forums and take your questions and stuff like that. So I am going to hand this off to Damien to start us off because this is obviously a great idea that he came up with. So I want to let him start off the subjects and whatever we're going to discuss in regards to Godzilla for the past year. So,
well, it's not just Godzilla. I put Godzilla in there, and you did say that in when you were promoting the video. We're going to talk a little bit about Pacific Rim, and it actually related to what happened, how this evolved, and how the movie has progressed, and the rumors and all the the stuff that came out, the leaked trailers, everything we heard so far, and we're going to talk about that. And we know that the trailer's probably going to come out here soon, and I just want to do this show prior to that happening, because then after that the trailer is out, and really all we're waiting for is the promotional machine of the movie to start, which is probably going to start after the movie, which is after the trailer, which is logical,
Right. So now,
Pacific Rim. Actually,
oops, give me a second here. Wanted to enter, since Josh is not here yet, I just entered the live stream room so I can keep an eye on the chat board. Now, all right, so let's start with this. Now, what's today's date? We're on the 6th, so we're roughly about 24 days away, 25 days away from the end of the year, and it's been a crazy year. We started off slow. We know that they started filming the movie earlier in the year. They wrapped it up like in about 3 months because obviously there's a lot of CGI involved, so that takes time. So
that was the last filming in July, which was in Hawaii, right? That was the last film.
Yes, yeah. They spent some time in Canada, and then they were in Hawaii for some time, and then that was it. And literally finished, if I remember Gareth Edwards saying, almost literally finished the film a day or two before the whole Comic-Con. And then Comic-Con is when everything started to take off. The Godzilla encounter. Now, did you get to see footage of the Godzilla encounter?
Oh yes, I saw the footage that they put on the official Godzilla website, which is not the Godzilla movie site, which people think it is.
Yeah, it's just for the encounter.
Yeah. So in that side, yeah, I saw it. It was great. And I also saw the video with the movie stars from the film, which was very interesting to see them checking it out. We were excited. So that kind of excited me too, seeing them excited. When you see the actors excited, that tells you a lot about a movie when the actors are very excited about the movie.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, one of the biggest deals for me, and I've said this in the past, was like, you got great actors, but the key actor for me, or I should say actress, is Juliette Binoche. Because she traditionally does not do movies like this.
You're correct.
This is not her style. This is not. She does theater. She does dramatic Renaissance type movies. I've said it time and time again. She's won an Oscar for a role. I can't remember the movie now. The English Patient. She won an Oscar for that back in the day. So when I saw her come on board, to me that was a big deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and actually, when you see people like that, and that tells you something, because if she came on board, there was something to the story that brought attention and said, you know what, I need to do this film. So I think that's something vital, because if you look, it seems that the writing was important to get these people on board, and when they saw the script, they said, man, we got to do this film.
Yeah, and I think it was Josh. Well, he just left. He'll probably be back in a second. Josh was the one who sent me a link to an article where she said that one of the reasons she agreed to come on board was because Gareth Edwards basically was very nice to her. He was very pleasant, He was very persistent, and I'm sure he did a little ass kicking in there. Ass kissing in there too. But who wouldn't if you're gonna get an actress of her caliber? You know.
Yeah. But I mean, you know how people talk about stuff, but I think there has to be more than that. I don't think it's just. I think he probably did ask her, to be part of it, but I mean to go on full on board on a film like this, the type of actor she is, that's interesting. And then as the time progressed and we started to find out more about the other actors, then comes up the guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh, Bryan Cranston, yeah. And you know what?
Bryan Cranston.
One thing I think his presence is going to do, it's just going to bring people in because they were very wise to cast him, and it was almost like you can't really call it foreshadowing because at the time they casted him, they didn't know the last season or 2 seasons of Breaking Bad was going to be such a big hit. So now it's almost like Bryan Cranston is like he's like the iron that's striking while it's hot. It's like. Mm-hmm. He just finished Breaking Bad. Now he's going to be in one of the biggest blockbusters of the summer, and I'm sure that's going to attract some people who were fans of the show, may not be too familiar with Godzilla, but they just like his performance enough that they're going to want to go and see him.
I think that was a great choice to pick him for this movie this size because imagine Breaking Bad was a successful series, and not only that, imagine. The guy got a compliment from actors. They were saying this guy was incredible. The other actors were saying. I think. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
About that, the phone ringing.
It's like a radio talk show. We got calls coming in.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins, said to him, I sent him a personal letter, saying that. The show was incredible. Anthony Hopkins had never seen the show. Somebody told him to check it out. He saw one episode, and then he recorded all the episodes so he could just sit down and watch them all. And he said he was basically blown away by Cranston's role, and sent him a personal letter to tell him that, and the crew. Imagine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So all right. So we got a couple of people commenting in here. Brian Crockett just informed us here that, I don't know, maybe you knew this, I didn't know this, but Pacific Rim was nominated for Best Visual Effects, I think for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Did you see Pacific Rim? How'd you feel about that movie?
No, man, that's an amazing movie, man. I mean, you can't say it's not visually, the progress, the way the film started, the way the film, I mean, you could, this is the kind of film that you sit there, it starts, and you're like, okay, what's next? And then you're like, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? You're waiting for the next thing because that's how good it was, The effects, the fight, the storyline was amazing. The connection between the characters, it was a great film, and you had everything. You had sci-fi, you had anime, whatever you want to call it, was all in there.
Right, yeah.
A little bit of everything for all the geeks that like these kinds of movies,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So, I definitely enjoyed Pacific Rim because it was very different. It's unfortunate it did well overall. It made good money. It made profit. Obviously, it did a lot better worldwide than it did here in the States. And the States did about $100 million, which isn't shabby, but I think they were probably expecting more. What I'm curious now.
Well, you got to think about also the DVD though.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking strictly box office.
Yeah, with the DVD, it's made a lot of money because the thing was that you got to think about that remember it was a kaiju film. It was for a fan type, it's a type of person that likes the kinds of movie. Either you're sci-fi or you like kaiju films, and the mainstream America. But then after that happened, we get the word kaiju into the mainstream America wording, and people saying to each other, "Man, you need to watch this movie."
Right.
I know friends that don't even like sci-fi. They watch Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like I said, it was a great movie. I mean, it had its flaws, but most movies do. But overall, just the concept of the whole big robot thing, and then these monsters coming up from underneath the sea or the ocean, it was definitely a cool concept. The only thing I had a major complaint about with that movie was a lot of the big-time fighting scenes with the kaiju and the Jaegers was surrounded by water. Like either either in the water or it was raining, and that kind of to me took away from the potential effect of how they would look. Because when they showed a one small scene of Stryker Eureka fighting a monster in broad daylight in Australia, and it looked incredible. And you could see the detail and the design of the Jaegers. You could see the monster, but see when they do it in water and it's raining in the environment, it takes away from that detail, and that's the only thing I had a gripe with that movie was the rain.
Well,
and
what
the
about
water.
the scene with Gypsy Danger when he got out of the water and he fought the second big kaiju that came up that was going on land, you know, chasing after the scientists. That was a pretty good scene. Even though it was dark, a little bit dark, it was still a good, you know.
Oh, that was an incredible scene. That was especially when the thing sprouted its wings. You kind of didn't see that coming, but yeah, it was great.
Oh yeah, that was unexpected, man. I was like, whoa, thing's gonna fly. What the hell, you know?
So I'm gonna refresh this page real quick because I know there's always a delay with YouTube live streams in the chat. So I want to see if we got anybody. All right, so yeah, that was all right. So Ultra Bat mentioned a great speech by Idris. Idris Elba is just a great actor. He could literally be in any film and make it good. That's just my opinion. So Garrett Miller's talking about Breaking Bad. Yeah, I haven't seen Breaking Bad yet. I'm actually going to be getting the whole series on Blu-ray, so I'm gonna binge watch it when I get it. So I'm trying to I don't read the forums too much and stuff like that. I want to stay away from that kind of stuff. I don't want to spoil it for me. Marketing Godzilla on TV with Bryan Cranston is a smart idea, I think, especially on AMC. Yeah, that's actually a very, very clever point, Jose Alvarez. If they were to kind of highlight, because as we get closer to the film, that's when you're going to see more commercial spots. So if they were to show Godzilla movie, the commercial spot on AMC, highlighting scenes with Bryan Cranston, yeah, that would be wicked smart marketing. So that's a good point.
Yeah. Will they do that?
Will they? Who knows? But I was telling people, I said in my video, and I want to know what you think about this. I personally think that once this trailer finally gets out, whether it's on the internet, whether it's in front of The Hobbit, or at the same time, I personally feel Warner Brothers is going to hit the ground running going into the new year, because May sound very far away, but time goes by pretty quickly, and you only have Spider-Man's already developed some momentum, as well as X-Men. Not to mention Bryan Singer already announced X-Men Apocalypse for 2016. So personally, I think Warner Brothers is going to hit the ground running with this. I think they're going to start marketing it hardcore. I think we'll get this initial trailer and then maybe even see another one within 6 weeks. And I'm hoping they do a website. I would love to. I've been saying this for the longest time. I would love to get a website with a couple of teaser pictures, especially the Mutos. I'm not so much concerned anymore about what Godzilla looks like. I think we've seen enough silhouettes and enough teasers of what he looks like that I'm satisfied with that. I'm dying to see what the Mutos look like. That's my primary goal right now.
Yeah. And get into that segue. It's interesting that you got to that point, because remember, when the information started to come out and Urban Collector put out that the toy thing, and they mentioned the name Mutos. We started to think about what it was going to look like. People, got the drawings from the Comic-Con that they made of what they saw and all this stuff. And I started researching and find out, because since Edward said that the mutants would be related to the reality of our world, the current situation of our world, I came to find out. I found an article which I posted on the website, and you actually talked about too, about what could the mutants be? How could the mutants become to what they are? And we were talking about mutations, and interesting, we saw real events that were related, insects and stuff like that related to the reality of the movie that could have been the inspiration for the movie.
Right. So now let me ask you this: What do you think we're gonna get with the whole 1954 scene? Because now that the last couple of weeks we got the confirmation that they're going to be some scenes either related. I don't know if I can't remember if it's related to 1954 or they're going to be staged in 1954.
I
So
think they
what
said
do
it
you
was
think
a
we're gonna get
flash.
from that?
It's a flashback, right? Is that right? Anybody out there? It's a flashback to 1954?
Yeah, if anybody in the chat knows, is the
I can't
1954?
remember exactly. Is it a
Yeah, me
flashback?
either. I can't remember either. Is it gonna be a flashback of a 1954, or is it gonna be a new
A
scene
scene.
set in 1954?
Yeah, because man, I don't want to open stuff over here because if I do, I don't want to jack up the
Yeah,
connection.
somebody will answer in a couple of seconds, so we'll wait till
Yeah,
that updates.
yeah. But while you answer that, and I think that's interesting that they're gonna do a flashback scene because I mean, if they're basing it on the reality of our world, our past is also our reality. So if you think about it, we had the nuclear events that happened in Japan because of tsunami. You know, there could be a connection, a relation to that to the past. Maybe something did happen in the past. I think you mentioned that in a story, in one of your videos that you did, Rob, that you talked about the possibility, of Godzilla in the past and all this stuff. But I'm thinking more of this way that maybe they're relating it could be that the first Godzilla is part of the reality, and
Yep.
this is another Godzilla. And I agree with that. I think that in this film we might be seeing a kind of like a segue to the original Godzilla that died.
Okay. Awesome.
And
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish
mhm.
up. I just want to mention that there's a couple of things I want to mention here, but finish what you're saying, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, and I'm saying the reason why I'm saying it's a segue because it would be perfect because we got the Godzilla died and then we have mutations happening and Godzilla was a giant creature and maybe his cells stayed and maybe because of whatever happened in Japan another Godzilla was reborn from his cells that were hanging out there in the water somewhere. It could be another possibility. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay. So there's a couple of people saying that it's going to be a flashback. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Crockett is mentioning that he himself personally did not hear as to whether or not it's a scene or a flashback, but other than the fact that it's just going to be a scene in the movie. And before we get back to that note, I want to mention here, Reginald mentions here, as a lifelong fan of kaiju films, especially Godzilla, I'm very interested to hear from both of you what you want to see in the latest Godzilla flick. I, for one, am excited to see if Gareth can do it. So I'll let you start this one off, Damien. So to answer
he's talking about what I want to see in the film, or how how the film will develop. Is that what he's asking?
What he said was, as a lifelong fan of kaiju films, especially Godzilla,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to hear from both of you what you want to see in the latest Godzilla movie.
Okay, what I want. Well, right away, and I agree with, and I know you're gonna agree with this, Rob. I want it to be dark.
Absolutely.
And why do I want it to be dark? Because I don't want no fun-loving, no happy, no tree-hugging Godzilla. I want that he's gonna come in, he's gonna kick ass, he's gonna tear shit up, he's gonna make people, die, and because we messed up. We jacked some things up, and we're getting what we deserve, and and that's why he's out. And now we have to deal with him and other things because we created our own world, and we're paying the price. That's what I want to see because that would be the story. That would be the best way to do it because we have all these events that have happened that if things would have been in place in reality, they could have been avoided.
Right.
But
right.
humans tend to say, "Oh no, that's never going to happen. Oh no, we're never going to do this. Oh no," and then it happens. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's a fault that we have that we, for whatever reason, we can't seem to let go. And interpreting that in the movie would be an excellent way to maybe teach people something, and at the same time make a great story.
Right. And you know what? The funny thing is that, and I'll get to what I want to see in a quick second. You mentioned something interesting in terms of sending a message. That's one theme that I can say consistently almost every Godzilla movie had. There was a message to be sent. Even with my most recent review of Godzilla's Revenge, which many people agree is a very dorky and corny movie, but it sends a message, and it sends a message about bullying. Godzilla's overall theme is sending a message about nuclear warfare or the force of nature not being able to control things. In terms of what I want to see in a movie, and for many of you who've seen my live stream with Goji or have seen me kind of have fun live streaming with Josh or whatever, I've been fairly consistent when I say I want to see a movie where, obviously very dark. I want to see a movie where he's taken very seriously. I want people to walk out of that theater scared. I want Godzilla to scare people. And I'm not talking about like horror scare where you want to close your eyes, but I want people to leave that theater thinking to myself, my God, can you imagine if something like this were to happen? And I don't want him, to be a hero. I don't want him to have any kind of definition other than he's a force of nature. He's arrived on Earth, and his path of destruction has no goal. There's no purpose. He's not trying to kill humans. He just is. He's not trying to destroy cities. He just is. He's there. He's like a tornado or a natural disaster.
Yeah. Well, we're in his way. We're in his way. I mean,
right.
He came
Yeah, exactly.
Way.
You have to endure him.
Mm-hmm.
You have to endure the storm until it's over. And the best course of action is not to try and stop it. Just get out the way and pray that you make it through. And that's what I want from the movie. So.
Yeah, that's like the like I said the ant the ant thing. We're bigger than ants and we step on ants and we imagine that's how Godzilla's gonna look at us. We're ants.
Yep.
There's nothing more to him. I mean, he's a beast and we're in his way and we're ants and he's gonna step on us and mess with us.
Yep. So Jacob Hill has a question for you, Damien. He wants to know if you're going to watch the live stream with me and him tomorrow.
I'm sorry. Watch.
Yeah, me and Jacob are doing a live stream tomorrow.
Oh yeah, sure, definitely, man. Why not?
Right, so there you go, Jacob. He'll be there.
I'll be there.
See, so Brian, the only place where I read the 54 scene was going to be a flashback or something was on Godzilla movies. Yeah, and Godzilla movies is 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. Sometimes they have great content and they have great accurate information, and sometimes they drop the ball completely. So.
Well, one thing I don't like about them, they recycle other people's articles, which I think is not right.
Yeah, I know. I saw they did it to one of yours.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I went there and I saw that. I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of screwed up. I hope they asked you permission for that. And they don't even link it the proper way. The link is not put a little name and then think that people are just gonna click on that little name because it's blue. The link is putting the whole link. And then you can click on it. A whole link to where the original came. That's the proper etiquette. When you if you go to my page, I have links and I have the whole link, on the articles if I have related to something, Right.
Out of respect, because they are the ones that gave me the idea or helped me to put the story together. But it's just whatever. But that's the only thing I don't like about them. They recycle other people's stuff without even asking,
So Jack's video production, I think the 54 scene may be Godzilla's very first arrival, but he is supposedly destroyed and goes to sleep. Reactor spill creates Mutos, reawakens Godzilla, and mutates him. What's interesting about what you're saying there, Jack, is I actually had mentioned to somebody, I don't think I mentioned it in a video, or I might have, I don't know, I talk about this stuff so much, but I actually said either in a video or to someone that it would be interesting if the reason Godzilla wakes up is not necessarily because of us, but because of the Mutos. So what do you think about what Jack has to say here? He says that 54 scene, very very first arrival, but supposedly destroyed, goes to sleep, reactor spills, creates the Mutos, reawakens Godzilla, and he gets mutated. What are your thoughts on that scenario?
Well, I don't know, Jack. I mean, I think it would defeat the purpose to try to create, because remember, Gary said this is a new revisioning of Godzilla. So I don't think that they would fall back into the original. I think the connection, like I said, would be that there was a first Godzilla, it got handled, it died, and now something happened, like I said, cells. Because remember, if we look at the reality, because if you base it on the reality of the world, mutations happen and things happen because there's things left over or something turns to something else. And it could be, like I said, maybe another Godzilla was born from the old Godzilla because of the nuclear event that happened in current times.
Right. And if we remember that, if they keep any link towards some of the older movies, Godzilla had very, very unique what was called G cells regeneration. So it could be something like that. One of the two scenarios I mentioned in my video discussing what we expect to see in the trailer and stuff like that. Two scenarios I mentioned was one, either he gets born in 1954 and doesn't make landfall until current times, or they stick with the fact that in 1954 he attacked, they stopped him, or what they thought was kill him, and there's a worldwide government cover-up. And I know that one's a little far-fetched, but that's just something I wanted to express because if you technically if you want to be realistic, if you ground the movie in reality, a government cover-up is not too far-fetched. There have been plenty of them. So if or what if they just go crazy and they say, let's make it so that in our movie, the second bombing of the nuclear bomb on Nagasaki, because they got Nagasaki, they got Hiroshima. Let's make it so that we portray it to the public as if it was a nuclear bombing. There was actually Godzilla making landfall. They could pull anything out of their hat. That's the truth. Yeah. I'm interested to see what it's going to be. Really, I got to be honest. Yeah. I'm very interested to see where they're going to go with that.
To add to yours, I think it's something simpler than that because humans are complaining. We human beings are complaining. And for example, we know in 2011 we had an attack, and that already has been forgotten. And that's not even too long ago. We're talking, now with Godzilla, let's say in the reality of the world, which is the world of Godzilla in the movie, the attack happened in Japan 60 years ago. People forget. People get complacent. That's never going to happen again. We took care of Godzilla. So, that complacency, we started polluting. We kept doing the same crap, and we created more monsters. Not just Godzilla, but we created more monsters because because we didn't care about our environment and the things that's happening. And that complacency, causes us, to not expect what's about to go down.
Right.
And remember, and one more thing, and remember, mutations can happen quickly. So I believe that was, it's going to be a fast-paced movie, and we're going to get the mutants developing quickly. There's boom, 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 boom. They're gonna go from small to big or whatever they're gonna happen. To fight Godzilla. Yeah. And the same thing with Godzilla.
Rapid evolution. So, Wolfman the Impaler. It would be funny if Godzilla flew around like he did in Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. If they imagine a serious tone movie and out of nowhere this guy takes off with like a rocket up his ass. It just I mean, I understand where you're coming from. It's a funny scene. Smog Monster gets a lot of gripe for that scene, which I like the Smog Monster personally, but yeah, this wouldn't fit this theme, I don't think. Brian Crockett says, I don't want anyone in the movie to verbally state the moral of the story. I'd be super pissed off. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. I think, and it would kind of be dumb to do that because I think it's not going to be very hard to figure out what the moral of the story is going to be. So if they verbally state it, that's just kind of like overkill.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they will. I think they're smart enough to avoid that anyway.
Right. Yeah. So Jack says that he wants a ruthless Godzilla. Just happens to kill the Mutos, and they're in his way. Yeah, I agree with that too. Like kind of like he's trucking through a city, a Mutos pops up, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here? This is my city," and he just rips him apart. But I also want to see him be challenged. I mean, Godzilla's so powerful, and although he has been through a lot of adversity in some of his movies, for the most part, the guy almost never loses. So I wouldn't mind seeing him get roughed up a little bit, maybe by the more advanced mutated Mutos, not the little ones like that I suspect that he's going to be fighting different evolved forms of the Mutos throughout the movie. So
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's going to be, when I did the article, I talked about, an insect that, has stages of growth, and he would go from one thing to another until the final stage where it flies, and then we hear that one of the mutants has wings. So it's just amazing to see all this. I get excited every time I talk about that because, I mean, you don't really know what to expect from the movie. Really, we don't know. Anybody says they know.
Yeah.
You're full of crap.
No idea right now.
Just because you saw a couple of trailers, trailers get recycled. That doesn't mean that you know anything about the movie, man. You don't. And that pisses me off when I hear people talking like they know. Oh, I know what's gonna happen in Godzilla. No, you don't.
We've gotten a lot of that this week. I mean, we've gotten a lot of people suddenly out of nowhere have
Yeah.
especially seen the trailer. And I'm not saying they're liars. We don't have
Yeah.
any concrete evidence, but
Hmm.
damn it, there's a part of me that always gets a little pissed off with that because you're kind of messing with people's heads. Because what if these guys are lying? They're describing something that's completely off base when we actually see the real thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, the truth of it is until the movie's out or until the
Mm.
trailer's out, nobody knows a goddamn thing. So,
Exactly.
so
And you know, it's hard for me too because I'm a news guy, and sometimes I report on the news. I don't want to give.
oh, I think we lost Damien's audio. We lost your audio, buddy. Yeah, we can't hear you. Yeah, I see you talking, but I don't see I don't hear anything at all. Okay, yeah, go ahead. And just to be sure, do you guys still hear me? Am I still coming out? Um, just let me know here in the chat, and we'll wait till and we'll continue chit chatting until Damien gets his yeah, still not nothing, Damien. Yep. Yeah, I see. Like I said, I see your mouth moving. You know what you could do? Why don't you exit the broadcast and then hit the link again and come back in? That should fix it. Yeah. No, not getting you, bud. Nope, there it goes. Okay, so I'm sure Damien will be back at any second now, and hopefully that'll fix his audio. So, going back to the forums here or the chat room here, Carol, I hope they keep the red kaiju from the first concept trailer when they quoted the Hindu scriptures. Yes, that monster, although it looked like it got fried by Godzilla, I'm definitely interested to see what that monster looks like because it was huge. It was a humongous monster. I mean, these monsters in this movie are going to be quite substantially big. I mean, even in the Godzilla picture, we see his tail. Uh, look at his tail relative to the helicopters. I mean, it's sick. You see the old Godzilla movies; those helicopters are not that small next to Godzilla. But boy, that red monster looks definitely serious. Okay, Damien, welcome back. Let's see if we can hear you. Oh no. Oh no, nothing. Nope. And just to be sure, again, I want to make sure you guys can hear me. So please put in the chat. It takes a little while to update, so you guys might have already said something, but just let me know if you guys can hear me or not. I want to make sure this is not a dual thing going on here. All right. Yeah, Damien, I'm still not getting any sound from you either. And here's Josh. Josh, what happened to 10 after 9, buddy? It's 9:33. You're late. That's it. We're cutting your funding.
My internet was going crazy. I had to reconnect everything. And I guess I hope Christmas presents up early, so.
Okay, so we're trying to Damien unfortunately is having some audio difficulties, so we're trying to get that fixed up. But Damien, can you hear me?
I believe he usually does.
Is he frozen?
You can hear us, Damien? Yeah, he can hear us. He made a sign. He can hear us.
You know what's funny? He's frozen on my screen. He's not moving.
I can see him. He's moving. He's like standing still, and he's moving a little bit, but he does that. He's like.
Yeah, I don't hear him at all.
That's what I got for Christmas.
What'd you get for Christmas?
iPod right there.
Say that. Oh, little Godzilla on the back of your phone deal. Okay, that's good. It's awesome.
Hey.
All right, so I want to get back to I would say I'm trying to figure out how we can get Damien back on. We had such a good flow going, and then his audio got cut off.
Rejoin? Try rejoin.
He tried to rejoin just a minute ago, and it didn't work. I mean, I would probably do it again. If it doesn't work the second time, I would check maybe the connection to your headset, or if you have a dedicated mic, you can try that.
All right, let's see.
All right, so
Hear me now?
Yeah,
I just heard you now. Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, now he's out.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so let me scroll back up here because I missed a couple of comments and questions. And then once I get caught up, Josh, I'll let you take over, keeping an eye on the chat room and forwarding questions to us and comments. So let me see here. Jacob, Carol, I already mentioned your comment. All right, hopefully this works out.
Oh, yep. Last comment was by Vincent, but Demon, it's Vinny from Sophia Theater, something like that. Oh.
All right, so Wolfman the Impaler, if Godzilla does it good enough, I wonder if Toho will allow Warner Brothers to bring other kaiju, Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, Brian Crockett, fuck Toho monsters. Brian, don't be a Debbie Downer. I think a lot of people would like to see some of the other kaijus from Toho universe.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is that him talking? Okay, I can hear him talking. I just don't see his mouth moving.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah, he's a little bit low. You're a little bit lower than you were before, but I heard you a second ago.
I think that that if Legendary and Warner Bros. Are gonna make another one, I think they might do their own monsters, possibly, but they can still do Toho monsters, but they might try to do their own thing.
Or they could do both. Why not? I mean,
yeah, they could do both. Yeah.
They've got even though they're called the Mutos, there's multiple monsters.
Yeah. Dang. It's coming like crazy. Dude, like, no joke. They're, like, commenting, like... I can see it's like comment. I can't even, like...
Yeah, they filter through pretty quickly after a while.
Let's see if I can find any questions.
Alright. I'm just looking through here because I know a couple of things went by. Alright, so, maybe Godzilla's corpse will totally dead in 1954. And the tsunami that caused the meltdown and leaks into the ocean causes his remaining cells to reanimate and mutate further. Just took a while. Wow, Reginald, that's actually a very, very, very good point. I never even thought of that. That would be an excellent way to kind of bring him into our world. Because yeah, like we've all mentioned before, we know that there's a good chance they might use the tsunami that happened as a foundation for the story of the movie. So if they were to do that, yeah, that could very well be a very, very good way to bring him back into the fold. And that's probably the other way that the Mutos are created initially. So excellent, man. That's a good one.
Brian says he wants new monsters. He's sick of the recycled monsters that the whole uses.
All right, so here's Damien back again. Hopefully we can get some audio from him.
Can you hear me now?
There you
Roger
go.
Roger
Welcome
that.
back.
I'm back?
You are back, my friend.
All right.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I missed you.
Oh, would you guys know if Aaron Johnson playing the lieutenant or just a regular soldier? He's playing the lieutenant.
I think his name is Lieutenant Ford. He's the primary character, so
yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think it's lieutenant or is it captain.
It's lieutenant.
I know he's not a top-ranking Army guy, but he's lieutenant, captain, somewhere along there. Yeah.
Well, he has some kind of special forces right away, so you know if he's jumping out of a plane. And interesting enough, you know, I think there's something. I was talking about it that I think there's something related because what's her name, Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen said that he's trying to kill Godzilla, and there might be a reason behind that. Not only that he's after Godzilla and he's military, but he must have an ulterior motive for trying to kill Godzilla. Maybe Godzilla did something to his family or something. Remember, we do see him in Hawaii, and that was the first spot where Godzilla showed up, and he was not in uniform. He was just in regular clothes.
Right, and also, Shock Till You Drop. Look, Josh, I remember that. I had made a video where an interview that Shock Till You Drop had with Gareth Edwards, and he mentions there's a very emotional scene between Bryan Cranston and Juliette Binoche. Obviously, in the movie, they both play husband and wife. So, and Ford, Aaron Taylor Johnson, being the son of Bryan Cranston, and I believe they say, not confirmed yet, but I believe they say that Juliette Binoche plays his stepmother. And so anyway, if you try and link it together, and again, nobody knows for sure, this is just speculation, but if there's an emotional scene involving Binoche and Cranston where one of them die, then that could very well give Aaron Taylor Johnson's character motivation to try and personally kill Godzilla. Obviously, he's never seen the old movies before, so he's going to fucking learn the hard way that you can't do that shit.
New question. Any hints that Godzilla Atomic Breath will be in the film yet? It's already been confirmed.
I know it's been confirmed, and we just don't know what it looks like.
I think it's blue because of the picture, but, you know...
What picture?
The blue, the first poster that was made.
The official poster that he has his mouth open. You can see the blue.
Are you talking about the one where he's blowing smoke, atomic breath on the city?
No.
The old
I was going to say that one's dark.
He's standing sideways. The sideways shot. The other poster that you see him sideways and you see his mouth is kind of blue smoke coming out of it.
Yeah, and you can see like a destroyed city a little bit like beneath him.
Yeah.
I need to see that picture. I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's the other poster that he's sideways.
It's an old 2012 poster. It's a 2012 one. It's like animated. It looks like animated.
Is that the one with the legendary symbol on the bottom right corner?
Yeah, no, in the middle at the bottom.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but that's just like that's an artwork. I mean, it's an official poster because it has legendary.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. But the reason why I'm saying that is because you think about it, the hottest thing of a flame, what is it? What is the hottest part of a flame?
The hottest part of the flame? You mean there's different layers?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, educate me. I did not know this.
Blue. The blue part of the flame is the hottest part of the flame.
Oh, right. Okay, yep.
So it makes sense to me, this is just my opinion, it would make sense that it would be blue because it would be the hottest kind of fire that you could think of, or the nuclear breath.
Oh, honestly, I've never, I see fire and like to me the whole damn thing is hot. It's like, okay. Like it's now you know what it is. Now Damien's gonna make
it is hot,
and I'm gonna end up turning on my stove and putting my finger on different colors to see, because I never knew that. I never knew that. You just taught me something.
I mean, you're gonna get burned either way, but the hottest is blue. Is the blue.
Oh man!
You don't think that the yellow is not gonna burn you, or the orange colors?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yep.
Josh, man, we see the first half, man. I said, damn, where's my boy Josh?
Man. I know, sorry.
Every live stream you hey, listen, Josh.
He's there for his live stream.
Yeah.
Right, yes. He makes it on time for his own live streams, but he can't make it on time for ours. I'm taking that personally.
It's because my brother is over and they were opening presents, so it kind of...
No excuses.
You knew this was happening. You had time. We told you already when this was going to happen. You had time.
Josh, you got to get your priorities straight. It's either family or a live stream. You can't be both.
Now, what I want to get into is, the trailers. We need to talk about the trailers.
Oh, God,
Which one?
Yes, the trailers.
No, let's talk about the first one. The first one,
Yeah.
And,
well, Carol mentioned here while you were having technical difficulties that she would, I don't know if that's a she. I'm assuming Carol's a she, but, who knows. So just confirm that, Carol. Are you a guy or a girl? I just don't want to offend anybody. But anyway, Carol mentioned that they would like to see the red monster or the red Mutos that's in the concept trailer, and you know, we were talking about it a little bit, the scale of the monster, how big it looks, and the fact that it's charred. That's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
That's all you could make some Muto burgers
you
out
see
of that
the
shit.
birds. Remember in the video, you see some little birds like flying over it. I think they're
Yeah,
buzzing.
birds will eat anything. Fucking pigeons, man. They just go to town.
Vultures.
I wish I had the stomach of a pigeon because I could just forage anything. I wouldn't have to worry about disease.
But you know, in talking about that particular, before we go into the trailers, you know, I said this before. I think that what we're seeing there is not one big Muto, but two of them. Look at the video. I've said it before. Look at the video. The one is closer when you look at the scene, and then there's another one far away. To me, it doesn't look like they're connected. To me, it looks like it's two dead. I think that Godzilla handled two real quick right there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It could be like twins that just they curled up into a fetus, hugging each other as Godzilla was killing them.
Yeah, Dreamer's here.
I mean, if Godzilla was burning me with atomic breath, I'd get into a fetal position as well. There's just no coming back from that.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, it's Jedi Dreamer. Welcome. Welcome.
But you know, when the first trailer came out, everybody was excited. I personally didn't want to see it. Even though I reported on it, I'm the kind of person. To me, let me explain something about me. It's difficult sometimes for me to do articles because sometimes I feel like I am spoiling the movie for myself. You know, and I don't want to do it. But news has to be reported, whether it's good or bad. The difference is that you got a choice to look at it or not. I don't. I have to look at it. So that's the difficult part about reporting about things that are happening.
Yeah, that wasn't a very difficult choice for me. I wanted to see it. I said, trailer? Yes, please.
I'm like, give me it now.
Yeah.
And you know, and everybody was excited, and then trailer 2 comes out and gets leaked.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
and
that
there
was
we
over
go.
1 week. I remember. I had to send out about 16,000 emails for people who wanted that thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's just amazing to see. And it's funny because people are bitching. You got trailers. People are bitching.
I like the complete
They
detail.
were bitching. You know, that's what I don't understand. And I don't want to insult nobody, but why were you bitching if we had 2 trailers leaked?
Well, here's the funny thing. This is my favorite complaint right now. This is what I'm seeing on the forums. People are getting disappointed if it happens to be the second leak trailer. And the first thing on my mind when I hear that is, you weren't supposed to see the fucking thing. That's why it's being released. That's why it's called a leak.
And you didn't have to click. And you didn't have to click the button to see it if you didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I think? I think why people are mad because you know how that leaked in October, right?
What was that?
Sorry?
You know how the second leak trailer happened in October, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it happened October 9th.
Yeah.
So I think people are mad because they waited all this time until the Hobbit, and they're showing the same thing over again.
Right, but see, they're not showing the same thing technically. They're showing
technically, but
you.
yeah, a lot similar, but I'm like,
and also the second video was so freaking blurry you couldn't even see any details.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's
I think they should. I think Thor. They should put it in front of Thor, but you know, we don't know how long they had that trail, but
yeah,
who knows?
But anyway, and there's something I said on one of my last videos. We gotta remember that when a film production company puts out trailers, they can put 1 or 2 or 3 depending on what they're gonna do with Godzilla. They're gonna recycle those trailers. They're gonna put parts from the other one in the second one and in the third one.
Yeah, you're gonna see.
That's nothing new. So I don't understand why people don't get that.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna see roughly the same thing. Every trailer they release going forward is gonna be similar to the last one with minor differences.
Yeah.
And that's how it always is.
Yeah, because they try to showcase certain things about the movie without giving out the details. Would you want to know the whole story from the movie in the trailer? No. Come on, people.
Keel,
you get a taste.
I'm going to say Demon Dragon of Earth. Yeah, if you didn't see the second trailer, don't watch it now at this point. Because if it is indeed going to be that leak trailer they're going to show, it's going to look much better in the theater. The second leak trailer was filmed from, I think a Galaxy S3 or something.
Yeah.
And while you can make out some stuff, it's really bad quality, and they don't show any monsters anyway. There's no indication. You see Godzilla at the end, but it's the same silhouette from the other one, and you don't see any Mutos, so you're not missing anything. Don't go looking for it.
Yeah.
I love the first scene of the movie though. The first scene, the second trailer. The first scene was awesome. Like they explained how the military perspective, how they would react in real life. This is how they react: fear, terror.
And I think that's how the trailers are gonna play out. It's gonna be the first trailer is gonna show a little bit of the human side. Then the second trailer is gonna show a little bit of the military stuff, and then the third trailer is gonna give us like a bigger view. Maybe that shows the mutants, a little bit of the mutants, which I hope that's gonna be the third trailer.
Yeah, that's what I want to see what the Mutos look like.
Yeah, a little bit of something of the mutants in the third trailer. That's what maybe a little.
Josh, do we have any questions?
They're just mostly statements right now. Jedi Dream, did any viewer experience the countdown until posting? Is this new? Apparently.
What was that question?
Hey, did any viewer experience the countdown until posting? Is this new? I don't know what he's trying to say.
The countdown for what?
I don't know.
Hey, could you put the question again so we can see what you're asking?
Yeah. I don't actually see it here. Who asked that question?
Jedi Dreamer.
Oh.
Jedi.
Oh, his questions aren't important. We can keep going. Just kidding, Jedi.
I was about to say,
Hold on, we have a question here that I see. Carol Thomas, did you guys watch Gareth Edwards' Monsters? And if so, what did you think about it? So I'll let you start with that, Damien.
I'll go after.
Me and Josh will talk about. He watched it too. Let me tell you, the movie Monsters, to me, this is personally to me, it's a view of what he's going to do with Godzilla. I would recommend everybody to see it. And what I'm saying is, it's not a super gigantic action film movie, but if you want to see what he did in terms of the human side and connecting that with the creatures, then you need to watch that movie because he'll tell you his style. And I think that's why he was chosen to be the director of the movie, because when they saw that what he did with Monsters, they said this is the guy we need for the film because he's going to be able to connect that human side of it with the giant creatures.
What about you, Josh?
You gotta say, Jeffrey.
I feel the same way. I feel like if you watch this movie, I did, you actually feel invested in the characters. You actually care about the characters, well, what they're going through, and what they have to accomplish and what they want to do. I think you really get. That's why Bryan Cranston loved the movie, because you get invested in them. In a monster movie, that usually never happens. You don't invest in the character that much. You just have the monster. But in this movie, you really care about them, and you really want them to be alive and go through whatever they're going through, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And Rob fell asleep.
Don't take this the wrong way. I'm gonna tell you my experience with Monsters. I tried watching it 3 times and fell asleep. That's not because it's a bad movie. I actually fell asleep because during my days off, I watch my kids. They take a lot out of me, and when they go to nap time, I'll try to watch a movie or play a game, and sometimes I fall asleep. So it's not because it was boring. It was just because I was tired. So I really haven't seen the whole movie. I've tried watching it several times, and then I haven't tried since. So I really can't judge it. But it does seem to be very, very much based on kind of like The Walking Dead, where you focus on the characters and the monsters are kind of like in the background causing issues. I don't think we're going to get that in Godzilla because you have a much more prime character or kaiju.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I think
he's vital to the story in Godzilla.
What happened?
I said he's vital to the story. He's one of the main characters too.
Yeah. Where in Monsters, I don't think the monsters are vital to the story, because not that they're not, but they're not as important, because I think the premise of the story is the guy and the girl trying to get across the border.
Well, he's trying to save the girl. That's
right. He's trying to save the girl. So, what else we got here?
And before you say that, I want to give a shout out. If you guys don't know, recently we became part of actually an actual TV show that happens in a cable network. and the show is named Sci-Fi Ninja Theater. They do have a page in Facebook. Check them out, Sci-Fi Ninja Theater, and we're gonna start putting some of our work on there. We're gonna actually do content for them, me and Rob. So be on the lookout for that. Shout out to you, Vinny. Thank you for letting us be part of this, and hopefully we'll get a lot of good stuff out there for everybody to see. So if you haven't, I'll put a link we'll probably put a link later here in the bottom of the video once it's recorded, so you guys can go check them out and like the page, and because we're gonna have some of our stuff on there too. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about that last night. That's exciting news. I'm definitely looking forward to that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, and obviously a lot of you guys here are the core supporters of the 3 channels. Myself, Damian, and Joshua, and obviously there's a lot of other viewers who probably just can't be here. It's a Friday night, so Friday night. I mean, when I was Friday night a couple of years back, I mean, I was going out, staying out till 4 in the morning, getting plastered. So I'm sure. I'm sure there's some people that are just out. All right, so we have Jose. If Legendary and Warner Brothers picked other actors than our final cast, what actors do you guys would have wanted to see in this movie? So I'll let you start with that, Damien.
I like it the way it is. I don't want to see nobody else.
No, that's good.
No, I think that they picked the right people. Why? Because it's about the story. And if you get good actors, which they all are. People say, "Well, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Kick-Ass." The guy's a good actor. The guy is British and he talks in English like he's an American.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing people don't realize. And he is a good actor. He plays his role fine. I think he would be a great physical action kind of guy because he's done that. Just like he got called in to do what was the name of the role he's doing now for Marvel?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Avengers.
I think he's perfect for that. He has the physicality, and he has the talent to be a good actor. So I think Cranston is perfect. Olsen, Watanabe. Oh my God, the guy is a freaking Japanese legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, what more can you ask for a movie? That's why Gareth is so happy.
Right. So Josh, what about you? Would you wanna? If you didn't know who the final cast was, who would you want to see in the movie?
Right now, I think it's pretty good. You know what really interests me? I know Henry Cavill and Joseph, I think it was from Batman. I'm really interested if they were really the main cast. I really wondered how would it go. I don't know. I think this is the perfect cast. This is for a Godzilla movie. This is a great cast. They have an Oscar-winning. We got Sally Hawkins. We got Ken Wannabe from Batman, Inception. We got Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. Malcolm in the Middle. Elizabeth Olsen, from indie films. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I think this cast is awesome. It's just it's how interesting how they went so far and how seriously about this film. Great.
I thought that Cranston would have been perfect with Godzilla. Let me tell you, I thought about that. I said, when I was looking at before they announced the thing, I said, man, maybe they picked Cranston, and it came true.
It's awesome.
Because I was thinking he just got out from his show, perfect guy to pick for that, to play some kind of role in the movie, and it happened. So that's why I say that I don't think they need to make any. It's fine.
I think you know what? I'm very happy with the cast. I've made plenty of videos back on ODT profiling these people and where they come from, because sometimes you don't have to have a big name to have good talent. Yep. With that said, I think the only actor for some reason, and I've thought about this time and time again, the only actor for some reason that comes to my mind when I think about this movie is Ewan McGregor. Mm-hmm. I think for some reason he would have been good in this movie. I mean, he's a good actor, but I think he conveys a lot of good emotion. And to make my point, I recently did a Star Wars video, and I was blasting the first trilogy, the part 1, 2, and 3. And one of the only highlights of that series, in my opinion, was Ewan McGregor. And in episode 3, the lightsaber battle between him and Hayden Christensen I think personally he carried that scene. He carried Hayden Christensen through that scene. So when you think about a movie that's very emotional or is aiming to be emotional like Godzilla, I kept thinking about him. But outside of that, I'm very, very satisfied with this cast. You know, there's a lot of talent there. Elizabeth Olsen now is kind of coming onto the scene, but she's a much better actress than her two sisters. Her two sisters they're just good business people, you know what I mean? But in terms of being on screen, she's phenomenal. She's done a lot of great indie work. Ken Watanabe this guy's done movies in Japan. He's done movies here. His wife, and I don't know which movies she was in, but his wife has been in Godzilla movies. A lot of the more newer ones, like the Millennium series. And, Akira Takarada is going to be in it. I mean, we still don't know what he's going to be about. But here you got a classic Godzilla actor. He's been in, like 5 or 6 movies? So I think the cast they have is very solid. And the good thing about it is we know that our primary characters are Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen, and they are surrounded by veteran talent. Veteran talent meaning Bryan Cranston, like he mentioned, Juliette Binoche, Ken Watanabe, you got Akira Takarada, and I can't remember what's the name of the gentleman that you interviewed?
Patrick
Sabangi.
What was the last name?
Sabangi.
And this guy is, if you guys don't know who he is, if you've ever seen 300, or he's going to be in The Empire too, right? The new one?
Yep.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that he's very familiar. Like, you'll see his face like, oh! But I have a feeling this movie and the new 300 movie is going to put him on the map big time.
Well, he was also part of Watchmen. He had a role in Watchmen. He was the lead guy in the gang when they fought inside when they fought in the back alley.
Right.
He's the lead guy. If you've seen the movie 300, he's the lead guy from the gang with the leather jackets.
Wait, 300 or Watchmen?
No, the Watchmen.
Watchmen. Okay.
Yeah, and
is he the guy in 300 that gets speared? He's sitting on a horse and they throw a spear at him?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought he was.
No. Yeah, he's the general from the other army. Yeah.
Right. That's who he is. Yeah, he's not the guy who got speared then.
He's a director too, though. He's a director and an actor.
All right, so I'm doing Josh's job right now, looking at the chat board. Thanks for
no questions. It's all statements. Gareth Edwards says it's going to be the biggest Godzilla. Yes, he did say that. Only by a little bit.
Can somebody pull that IGN interview, please? I could have sworn I heard him say he's going to be the second tallest, so it's slightly shorter than the biggest one.
I got you right now.
Yeah, do that. Pull that up. Don't play it, though. I thought he said copyright strikes. I just got here.
It's not copyright. I don't think that's copyright.
I thought he said he was going to be the tallest, man.
It's not copyright.
Doesn't matter, right? You know what? Don't pull up the video. Look, you know what? It's fucking Godzilla. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if there's 5-foot difference. So.
I don't think there would be much of a difference. It's 5 foot.
Yeah, no, 5 feet. Yeah, he's about 2.5 feet taller. You know, depends if a pigeon lands on his head or not.
I'll laugh if they say, "Oh, he's only 2 inches shorter." Okay, 2 inches. Come on, guys. You know.
Okay, so Jedi Dreamer Damien, that post about the theater dude watching the video early was cool. I fully did not understand those keys are these digital locks.
Oh yeah, those are. The friend of mine that I talked to works in that. What happens is that the videos come in these. They look like these tapes, you know, like these fancy big kind of tape things, and they have encryptions in them. And the keys that you have to have the key to be able to open and the encryption, and you can play the movie. So the guy was, when the other guy came on there and they started arguing, oh, you're lying. Well, the guy started saying about the keys, and he was saying certain things. It's true. Sometimes some movies don't come with keys because the studio wants you to promote the movie. They want you to, the people to see it, to start sharing the buzz. And other times, it comes with a key, and you have to have the key to be able to see anything. And usually the people that have those keys are,
I found it.
important people in the theater. So that's what I'm saying. It's not just anybody. So if that guy had the key, like he's saying, then he must have been the projectionist or the whatever in there, and he was working in there. So he cannot really lie about that. And he was saying stuff. If he didn't know about it, he wouldn't have mentioned the keys. You know.
Right. So
interested in Godzilla.
So there's
Can't swear on his part.
maybe the guy is lying. Maybe he didn't see nothing, or maybe he did see something. We don't know, but he did say something that was factual that I confirmed to be true. So who knows what's
Hey Josh, you don't gotta pull up that interview. It's all good. We're gonna just bypass that. Okay, so Vincent Captor says you guys are cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very nice of you. Wolfman the Impaler. If Godzilla does good enough, other studios are gonna try to cash in on popularity with remakes of other movies like Gamera and Gorgo. I mean, there's a possibility of that. The only problem is, as much as I love Gamera and I love Gorgo, I just don't see them doing very well. You know, they're just. Well, then again, who knows? Maybe they will. I don't know. I think Gamera will have more of an issue because he's a flying turtle, and the most popular turtle here in America are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtles!
So unless they bring Gamera out with a freaking bandana around his eyes and some nunchucks, I don't think they're going to get very far with that one.
And pizza.
So let's keep going down the line here. How tall do you think Godzilla is going to be? Yeah, we just kind of discussed that. Anything about Jap superhero?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not too familiar with Japanese superheroes, I gotta be honest. Dragon Demon of Earth, 150 feet tall. I'm just kind of going through the conversations
it's
here.
popping up really quick. These old comments. Seeing.
Okay, so Wolfman the Impaler says that Gareth said he's going to be the biggest Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so he's going to be the biggest Godzilla.
By a little bit, not too much.
Only cast that could have improved was Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, I don't know. He's more scary, funny, like.
So, Jacob Hill, 392. Okay. Jedi Dreamer, I agree, Rob. Yes, Ewan McGregor is a fine actor. He really saved episode 3. Vincent, okay. So Vincent Captor, I think he meant to say was that he'd like to see some big Japanese stars. I mean, they got Akira Takarada. I mean, there's more big Japanese stars, than, but I think the reason they chose him is because I think he's in the most Godzilla movies, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's either 5 or 6.
Jedi Dreamer asked, how exactly do you want to see the movie end?
Who said this?
Jedi Dreamer.
Remember that Armino had asked good questions in another video earlier. How exactly would you like to see the movie end? Exactly, use the Force now. Yeah, right. Okay, so I mean, I've said this dozens of times. Here's my fantasy ending. So Godzilla goes through his romp from Japan to Hawaii to San Francisco, fighting multiple Mutos, getting bombarded by the military. So finally, he fights the Grand Mutos of them all, a flying one, or whatever the case may be. They have an incredible battle. Godzilla, after all this, is just completely drained. No more energy, no more will to fight at the moment. So he basically goes back from where he comes. He goes back to where he comes from. So my ending would be that he travels through the water and goes back to a large island that's uncharted on maps. The military follows him to kind of get an idea of where he comes from, what the deal is. The credits roll. Then halfway through the ending of the credits, you see Godzilla coming out of the water, landing on an island, and as he starts walking forward, we see like another monster foot drop. Like you see a front vision of Godzilla, and then you see another foot stomp on the ground. You hear another monster roar. You see Godzilla kind of like cock his arms back, and the back of his dorsal fin start to charge up, and boom, end credits, end of the movie. That's my fantasy. That's for some reason I'd probably, have to change my shorts 3 or 4 times if I saw something like that.
So we're talking about the ending of the movie.
How would you like the movie to end? Yep.
I want the movie to end showing there's going to be a sequel. I said that before.
Yeah.
I want to see the movie end, and we're going to see a sequel. I don't care how it ends. I just want to see the sequel saying, hey, we're going to have a sequel.
What about you, Josh?
How I want to end? I want to end. I think all the mutants would be dead by now, but I like him. I would like to see the humans think that they killed him, like they got rid of the problem, or at least like digged him. And like how some Godzilla movies they dig actually Godzilla, like Avalanche or Volcano or something. I want something like that. And they believe he's dead. And then end the credits roll. You see Godzilla's eyes open up, and then another credit scene shows something. They did something in the movie that scientific arrogance, and there's another monster created. It forms into another monster, and that's how it ends. Like another creature shown that has never been seen before.
All right.
Something like that.
So we have, let's see here, Vincent Captor. I will have an interview with someone from the first GD and the new GD. Who will it be? Can I guess? I will have an interview with someone from the first. What's GD? Anybody have an idea what GD is?
Godzilla? GD?
All right, so if that's what we're assuming what GD means, Godzilla. So he says he's going to have an interview with someone from the first one, which I'm assuming is the 1954 movie, and then really? The new one.
Yeah. Vinny, that's the guy from the website that I just talked about.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's trying to. So he's teasing some interviews he's got coming. So does he want us to guess or?
I don't know. I mean, Vinny, let us know. Who is it?
Gareth Edwards? Gareth Edwards?
No, he's talking about the first film.
Right, so
I'm about to say.
Let's give Vincent a chance to give us an answer, and it's going to have to update. So we'll keep going until his name pops up again. So Carol Thomas, who do you guys think about the 98? What do you guys think about the 98 Godzilla movie? Which one would kick whose ass? I mean, can I start this?
Go ahead, man.
Okay, thank you. Now, here's my thoughts on the 98 Godzilla movie. In and of itself, if you didn't title it Godzilla, it's actually not a bad movie. I enjoyed it because it was a big monster running through the city, going nuts. Now, the reason I've accepted the movie is because I have personally extracted the name Godzilla out of the movie, and I've inserted my own title. And many people here they know what my title for that movie is. It's Giant Lizard Lost in New York and Pregnant. Because basically that's the premise of the movie. He's in New York, he's pregnant, or she's pregnant, or it's pregnant, and trying to find a place to lay those eggs. Doesn't really know their way around. They want to hit a Broadway show. Grab some fish, and there's people shooting it, chasing it, and it's just a sad story. He dies on the Brooklyn Bridge. You would think a better place to die, the Brooklyn fucking Bridge. But anyway, so in terms of battle versus battle, oh god, wow, this is rough. Let me think for a second. Godzilla. I think Godzilla would fairly, and all you got to do is think of it like this. The damn monster died on the Brooklyn Bridge by 2 shots from an F-15. Godzilla shits F-15s and their missiles. So I think it's clear, 1 shot of Godzilla's atomic breath and that monster's done. So
not even that. One smack of his tail or one hit from his claw would kill Zilla.
Yeah, it would be over.
Now, in terms of the movie, this is what I think. I like the movie, but I think it's a comedy film. I look at it as a comedy. I don't really look at it as a serious Godzilla movie. I don't think there's really nothing serious about it. It was meant towards kids, really. That's what it was for. You know, they didn't really have anything horrible that you could see that was terrifying. Even the baby Zillas were kind of cute in a horrifying way. And, you know, you had...
Very cute in a Jurassic Park kind of way.
Yeah, and you had Matthew Broderick in it. So, I mean,
Yeah,
that's about it. You know? And, I mean, at the time, he was a very popular actor. It's true he was. And the movie didn't do bad, you know, at the theaters. Do I consider it a Godzilla film? I do, but as an American version. That's about it.
Yeah, basically.
I don't think it's anything related. Like the other movies that were made by American, you know, there were American films, were related to Toho. This one, it was related to Toho in a way, but not really. I don't think.
They're embarrassed.
Yes,
I'm surprised they gave us a second chance.
Toho denies it. I think Toho, if you go to call Toho, oh no, we have nothing to do with that movie. They'll probably say that. No, Zilla, no,
it's not our movie. It's not ours.
Yeah.
Oh.
You Americans fucked it up. It's your fault.
You Americans always drop bombs on you. Drop bomb on us, and you drop bomb on our movies.
Oh my gosh.
I hope I didn't offend anybody. It's just a joke. I can be a little bit dark sometimes. Sorry about that.
But the thing is that, you know, I mean, do I keep it in the fandom of who we are? Yeah, I mean, it should be there. It deserves a place, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's part of the Godzilla fandom. You know, you can't take it away from that, at least at that level, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Josh?
I agree with Rob. I think as a kaiju film, I was a little kid when I watched it, but as a kaiju film, it's actually a really good film. It was actually financially successful. It was playing during Memorial Day, I believe, and it broke a record, apparently, like number 6, I think, 7. As a Godzilla film, it had too many plot holes, too many, like Matthew Broderick was near Godzilla, and he's nuclear radiation. They missed that. He would have died.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain stuff
Good
like
point.
that. Like what?
I said that's a good point.
Yeah, like I don't believe lizards don't eat fish. I think that kind of like, and as a director, you should know monsters don't run away from people. Monsters don't die from military usually shots.
And not only that, you know how you just mentioned he was what was he was eating fish? When the fuck did you ever see Godzilla stop for lunch?
Yeah.
In any movie. When did you see Godzilla go to a drive-thru and order some freaking sushi or damn Wendy's?
Yeah.
Godzilla doesn't eat food.
I never seen it. The only time I seen Godzilla eat is when King Kong shoved the tree down his throat. That was it.
And that was just a homage. And that you mentioned that was just a homage. And if you don't know this, that scene that you see Godzilla do, that King Kong did to Godzilla, is actually a homage to the 1933 King Kong when he did it to the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a homage to that. And let me tell you, Eiji Tsurabaya, he was in love with that film. That film, the 1933 King Kong, was the one that drove him to be a special effects guy with Toho. So when he had the opportunity to do King Kong vs. Godzilla, which I'm actually I'm about to release my 5-minute. Let me plug that. My 5-minute documentary on that, which is the number 4.
Plug away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna release it probably Sunday. So check it out, and I'm gonna talk about a lot of the fathom and stories and history about that particular film from 1960.
Actually, Toho signed off on the design of 1998 Godzilla.
He did sign off on. He's right.
So what is he now? What? No one. It's no one's now.
What was that question, Josh?
Guys, what's the best Godzilla movie?
The best one?
2014. I'm joking.
I've said plenty of times before. My favorite one is 1984, 1985. Godzilla Returns, whichever you want to call it.
Yeah. That's a difficult one for me. That is actually really different. It might be 1984, but as a as a kid, I always loved Godzilla 2000 because that was my film because I was a kid at the time and boy I like praised that movie so much because it looked so awesome and how I loved how Godzilla was getting beat the crap out of, but he wins at the end, but he always came back. He always comes back and wins.
Wins at the end in King Kong versus Godzilla?
No, Godzilla 2000.
Oh, okay.
What about you, Damien? Your favorite, or what you think is the best one?
2004.
Godzilla?
Yeah.
What I like Godzilla versus Megalon. That's one of my favorites. I think it's one of the best movies in terms of, to me, in terms of storyline, and the monsters in it. You get a quadruple taste, and then you get a giant robot. A pity that the robot never got another chance to be used somewhere else, unfortunately. But I think was a mistake by Toho. I think they could have had another series with him, just like they did with the Ultraman. I mean, he looked like the colors and all that stuff, but they could have evolved. Just like Godzilla evolved, they could have evolved them to something better, and they missed an opportunity to make money out of that too.
Okay, I have a question. If you can be a Toho monster, what main monster would you love to see in the new movie? It could be.
There's going to be an answer for me on that one. It's going to be Hedorah, man.
You would want to see Hedorah?
That's why, and people may not like hearing this, but I would, because let me tell you, I keep telling people underestimate Hedorah. Hedorah is a badass monster.
He is. Yeah.
They didn't make him badass because explain something about Hedorah, and the movie. Some people don't like Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, not just because of the flying scene, because they say that Hedorah hardly did anything. Well, there's a reason why Hedorah didn't do too much in that film, is because that suit weighed 400, about almost, around 300 and something pounds. So the actor, they had to have wiring on the actor in order to get him to do something with the suit. So they had to work around that, and even though they had those difficulties, they still had a great fight scene. If you look at the scenes, at the fight scenes that Godzilla has to deal with a badass dude, and in the movie they made him weaker because he had to be, because Godzilla had to win. But in reality, he has some badass powers. Acid that could mess with Godzilla's skin. Imagine if he would have poured all his acid, he could have probably melted Godzilla away.
Mm-hmm.
So the atomic laser beams. He had atomic laser beams. He had all kinds of different things, and he could morph. He could shape shift. So
he could do it all.
I think he would be a perfect monster to recreate, reboot, to be a nemesis of Godzilla in a future movie.
I think Josh knows my answer to that question. Do you remember my answer to that question, Josh?
King Ghidorah, I think. I'm not
King
sure.
Ghidorah, but I want him revamped to be bigger.
Oh, his arms, yeah.
And have arms. Yep.
Yeah.
I always thought he should have arms. Because
Yeah,
you see regular dragons, most dragons, once they're out of the worm stage, they have their wings and arms. And I just think he would be more devastating.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about just destroy all monsters, he probably would have had a much better fight if he could grab some of these bastards. But he just seems handicapped with no arms. That's my opinion.
Well, you got to keep in mind, he is heavier than Godzilla. He is bigger than Godzilla. So,
I'd want him to be bigger than, much bigger than him. I would say, let me see, maybe a couple of meters taller and wider, but the arms, he's got to get the arms. I want him to have arms along with his wings. So
I think because they gave him 3 heads. They probably said, well, he has 3 heads, man. If we give him arms, it'll just look like too much. I think that's maybe why they did that.
Yeah.
I think it'll look great. Think about the Tiamat dragon.
I agree with you. I actually thought that when I first remember seeing I hadn't seen Hedorah yet in King Kong when I was younger. I mean, in Godzilla when I was younger. I thought he was gonna be like a dragon with 3 heads and have 4 limbs. That's what I thought in terms of the leg And
Yeah.
I expected him to be, you know, a quadruped and not a biped, which that kind of surprised me when I saw the film, you know.
So Demon Dragon of Earth said he was surprised by your choice of Godzilla vs. Megalon. Said that he felt it was a very goofy entry into the series, and he's shocked that you want a serious film. He also mentions that Hedorah could drown you in his diarrhea.
I mean, I know you guys have this ongoing joke, the sludge.
I don't have
know you guys have
diarrhea like that when I'm sick.
But I'm looking at powers. I'm looking at things that if we look in reality of now, because that's what I'm saying. If you look, think about it this way, you know, let's look at all the monsters with powers in the fandom of Godzilla, in the world of Godzilla, in the powers. Really, could really all those monsters handle Godzilla? Think about it. They couldn't really. But Godzilla has nuclear breath. He can regenerate. I mean, and all they had was they could roll, they could jump high, they could do certain little things high. But how could they really deal with Godzilla? You know? And Mothra, who's really a demigod, man, she was the only one that could do something. But she wasn't even really a monster if you really think about it. Mothra is kind of like a demigod. She's like the Phoenix. She dies and comes back. She dies and comes back, which is the female representation of the only female representation of a monster in a Godzilla series, which was actually marketed for women. If you didn't know that, Mothra was marketed for women.
Was she?
Yes.
She was a woman, I think.
I guess it kind of felt like, huh? I don't know too many women even after Mothra that watch Godzilla.
Yeah, but the idea was to bring more women to watch Godzilla, and that's why they created Mothra. It was part of the idea.
If they wanted more women to watch Godzilla, they should have had Mothra with like a. Let me shut up. All right, so let me shut up.
But you got to keep in mind, Toho was kind of smart because they took advantage of the female actresses too. You know, if you look at all the female actresses, they try to keep them real pretty. You know, real sexy looking, kind of vampy. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, they have that little vampy thing going on, you know, which I like. As a male, there was a lot of things that even when you were a little kid, you were like, man, that's kind of like that's a cute Japanese lady. You know, you would say that. You know. So I mean, for example, if we look at another reality in the Gamera side, one of my and I know we're talking about Godzilla, but I'll go away. I'll go to Gamera when Gamera goes to save the kids on another planet. Those aliens were kind of hot, man. I said, man, if aliens kidnapped me like that, they were kind of hot in the little suits in the Gamera film. So that's Gamera versus Gyron. Gyron, right? I think that's the one. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of elements in these movies that are because we got to bring them to the reality of now. And going back to the monsters, which I kind of stepped away from, those monsters that Godzilla had in their time. If they're gonna do a remake, they have to revive them because people nowadays want to see something more realistic, which people expect now. Because even the Star Wars movies, if the Star Wars movies would have been the way they are now, people would probably say, "Ah, man, this sucks." They had to make them more realistic, more believable. So and that's what I'm saying. The monsters have become more believable now because now we're dealing with. If Godzilla is a serious movie, the next movies, if they do make sequels, gotta be some badass monsters to fight them because this guy's a badass,
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, all right. So Vincent said he's gonna have an interview with Akira Takarada, the first of the year. So I guess that's sometime in January, or the 1st of January, New Year's Day. Is that when it's going down?
Awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be great.
I could imagine sitting down and talking with those guys. That's what I say. People that we need to start paying attention to these guys. I mean, some of these guys are in their 80s now, and once they pass away, we're gonna lose a lot of the stories that these guys have to share with us. So, I'm working on a particular. I'm working on a particular. Something I'm going to do and a piece that I'm going to talk about these guys because there's things that you don't know about these actors that need to come to light to what happened to them after they left, the Godzilla world changed. And we got to keep in mind that Toho separated, so the company actually broke into different companies after the years after it started evolving, and a lot of these actors got left behind or left out of certain things, which a lot of people don't know about, and we don't talk about that. And it's important for you to learn about this stuff because, I mean, there's even sad stories to the reality of this to create these films. There's things that you don't know about that you might be surprised to hear, which I'm going to talk about here as my page gets bigger and I start getting more content in there. So look out for that, and I think you guys will appreciate that because it'll also connect you more to the films that you love.
Oh yeah, definitely. Josh, what's going on over there?
Nothing.
All right. When do you guys
I didn't get my charger.
take over for a few minutes? I gotta go and get something to drink, and then I'm gonna come right back.
Is there any other questions out there that anybody's asking before you leave?
You might have to refresh the page and update it. I'll be back like in 2 minutes.
All right, Josh.
All right, I'll refresh it right now. So for like a monster, like I would do when I did my first script, I created a monster. I based it off Hedorah.
Okay.
I called it Consumer of the Living because it kind of consumes what was up.
Now, if we, looking at the, in terms of favorite monster besides Godzilla, to me, I love King Caesar. I don't know. I was always fascinated by him because King Caesar is also to me kind of like a demigod, really, and not really. He's a kaiju, but he's kind of like a demigod because the girl had to pray for him to wake up, and it was hard to get him, which I thought was kind of hilarious in the film because I remember when I watched that movie, I was like, man, when is this damn monster gonna wake up and go kick some ass and go help out, So it's kind of, and I love that movie because of that reason. But they were not that anticipated to bring him out because she had to keep singing. It was driving me crazy as a little kid. I was like, man, come on, wake up, go help. And let me tell you, those are the things that I think people connect to about these films because there's little quirky things, those little funny things, those little anime kind of things, and keep in mind that there's a possibility that anime, or more than likely, anime was influenced by these films too because you see a lot of the funny stuff that you've seen in Godzilla. You see it being reflected in anime and cartoons. So there's a fine line between that, and it's fascinating. How everybody connects to a movie. For example, a good question I would ask everybody: what is a movie that you would most likely connect to in the Godzilla films? What is a movie you're the most connected to in Godzilla films, Josh?
I really don't know. As a kid, I was in love with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. Mm-hmm. For some reason, as a kid, I remember I'll be like desperate to find it, and then I will have one Godzilla movie left. It was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, and every time I saw him, I would scream his name, like Godzilla, Godzilla, and I always saw him as a hero. So I think maybe as a kid, I don't know why, but I was in love with that movie. Like Mechagodzilla was the man. He was the man. But
and that's what I'm saying. See, everybody finds a certain movie in the Godzilla film series that they connect to one way or another, whether it's now or before. For me, it was actually Godzilla versus the Smart Monster. That was actually the film that made me say, you know what, Godzilla is awesome.
Yeah.
Godzilla is amazing, and a lot of people hate that movie, but to me, I connected with that movie. I guess maybe because I understood it. Maybe I was a more conscious, kind of kid when it came to that stuff. Because in my family, we always, make sure that we recycle and all this stuff. Even before this became very popular. I don't know, but we always did that. So maybe that's why I connected with it. In terms of the movie, it has a great story. People say it doesn't. I disagree. I think it has a great story. I think it has an idea, and maybe it's a little bit, psychedelic, like people say. Yeah, it is. But Yoshimitsu Banno was trying to convey a feeling, a mood too, and that's what I'm saying. That mood was, if you look at them, because the Japanese, and that's another thing too that people might don't get is Japanese are very particular about the past and the present. And in the movie, you saw that he connected the old generation with the new. You see a scene that the old generation is looking at the new kids being wasteful, having parties and doing all that stuff. And you see how they kind of look back at it like they're looking from the outside. And that is something interesting about the movie, and that fascinated me when I was little. And then I get the opportunity to interview Banno, and he tells me something that I didn't know. All these years, I thought that when Godzilla pulled out those balls that you see holding in his hands, they were Hedorah eggs, and turns out they were his eyeballs. Go figure.
Ag says, which Godzilla monster pisses you off? That's what he kind of says.
Huh?
Like, makes you mad. What Godzilla monster made you mad?
I didn't hear you, Josh. You broke up.
It says, which Godzilla monster makes you mad or, like, pissed off, I guess.
Makes me mad?
Yeah.
I hate that spider, man. I don't like Kumonga, man.
Kumonga?
Yeah, I don't like that spider. I don't see the purpose. What was his purpose? All he did was shoot out this little net thing.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
and I've seen that. I know he is.
I never got the giant spider thing. I never got that. I maybe they did it because a lot of people have that fear of spiders. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they did it.
I mean, what that giant spider really do? Godzilla's to stuff, and he couldn't really poison him. And Godzilla could burn him. He has an exoskeleton, and Godzilla could just shoot his fire, and he burned him. That's what he did to him. I mean, so I never understood Kumonga, never.
For me, I mean, if you've seen my recent March of the King video, I think it's pretty clear which one pisses me off. It's Gabara. It's the fucking stupidest monster in the world. He looks like a big turd. I swear to God, he looks like a big turd. Yeah, Gabara is there. Like he sounds like he's either it's a comment, and please, again, I'm just being humorous, so don't get offended, but it's almost like because he was shitted out, he suffers from Down syndrome.
You offended me.
Because he's got
You offended me and Jacob Hill.
So really, it's like he's just, and he's got all these little bubbles on his back, like he's like infected with some shit. He's just a mess. Gabara's a mess.
Like he has leprosy.
Yes, seriously.
The one I don't like, some people might not like it, is Mothra.
Oh, come on, dude. You're going to get a lot of people mad.
I'm kind of with Josh on that one. I'm not.
The only reason
Mothra kind of annoys me too.
The only reason is that
it does, man. Really?
It's a moth, and he beats the crap out of Godzilla. He beats the crap out of Godzilla every single time.
Yeah, but remember, Mothra is not really a monster. He's kind of like a god.
Yeah,
which makes it even worse. You're gonna make a god. You're gonna make something badass, not like a Rainbow Bright.
Well, yeah, but remember that if they made him too badass, how could Godzilla fight him?
Look, all I gotta tell you is
they couldn't make him too badass.
To sneak up on his ass, and he turns around and he just spits fire all over her shit.
He comes back over and over again.
But you gotta give props to the little worm dudes though.
No,
come on,
and that's what I'm saying. I like the larva a lot better. I like the larva Mothra a lot better.
Yeah, the larvas are awesome, man. I think they're for their size, they're tough. They love to bite Godzilla's tail and pissing him off. I love that. Every time they get Godzilla, he's like, God damn it! You guys are biting my freaking and he gets mad. This is the last time, and then they get him again.
Okay, here's my gap.
Awesome.
It's the hit of the.
Oh my god.
Now, what is the funniest monster? I think we gotta talk about that. The funniest monster.
Monster that's funny.
Funny.
There's quite a few of them. I'm trying to think which one I thought was funny. I thought the baby Godzilla was funny.
Yeah, he is funny.
Yeah.
You know what? I find the mantis. What's the name of the mantis?
Oh,
I forget the name of the mantis.
I I can't remember. I always forget the name of the mantis. But I think I find it funny, man. You know, because the way mantis are kind of like, the way they made them so quick. I'm like, mantis not really that quick. So I was like, well, they made him like a wasp. Like he could fly like a wasp. But the mantis don't fly like a wasp. And why are they making him so fast? So I always thought it was just funny they made him that way, And then what really could he do to Godzilla? I mean, one thing for sure that I get from the Godzilla films is that insects do not have a lot of chances to beat Godzilla.
Minya. I like Minya. Minya's hilarious.
Yeah, You know who else I think is funny? Baragon. Baragon has a funny face. You know what Baragon looks like? Baragon looks like a pug and somebody shoved a dildo in his forehead. Every time I see Baragon, that's what it reminds me of. A pug with a dildo shoved in his forehead. It's exactly what he looks like to me.
What's the best monster roar and worst monster roar? You guys think?
Oh wait, real quick, I gotta answer this question. Brian, I will definitely do it tomorrow because I work tomorrow, so tomorrow night I'll do it because I'm off Sunday and Monday.
Okay. Naturally, I'm gonna say Godzilla, but everybody could probably say that, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna say Godzilla now, but I said Godzilla, but I think besides Godzilla, I like the originality of I like King
Ghidorah.
Hedra's. Yeah, I like his. Believe it or not, I like the way it sounds. It's real. It's real unique about it. And you said the worst one?
Yeah, the worst.
And the worst, I think the worst one would have to be Anguirus. I don't know. For Anguirus, I don't know, for whatever reason, I find it kind of funny the way the roar is for him,
Yeah, he sounds like he swallowed like 1,000 frogs.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So, but Godzilla to me is number one, but that's the easy way to say it, Godzilla's roar is badass, but that's why I say the other one. Besides Godzilla.
Oh my gosh, I say King Ghidorah. Of course Godzilla, but King Ghidorah. Maybe Orga might be the worst one. Orga is just. There's two different roars. There's an American version one and there's a Japanese version one. I haven't heard the Japanese. I heard the Japanese is worse, but the guy in Godzilla Revenge is one of the worst ones though too. But best name.
So
I like that movie though. I sort of do.
Which one is that one?
What?
You say you like that movie though. Which one?
Oh, The Revenge. I kind of like it. Kind of.
Oh.
I like it how
a lot of people love that movie, man.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
It kind of, as a kid, it kind of gets you close near Godzilla, and like as a kid, you want to see Godzilla, and like you want to like be friends with him as a kid, because when I was a kid, I thought he was a hero, so I want to. I had a dream one time. I was like chilling on his shoulders, and like me and my friend were chilling, and he's destroying everybody. It was just so funny.
In terms of the air time for Godzilla in the movie, what do you guys think about that? How long do you think Godzilla is gonna be shown in the movie? And do you think it's gonna be right away, like the 15 minutes after it begins, halfway through, or like that?
I'm gonna say between 30 and 45 minutes in, we'll see him.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. And then after that, I think you'll see a lot of them.
I mean, I think if this is gonna be true to the Godzilla world, Godzilla has to be shown on screen a lot. At least half the movie or more. So we'll see what happens.
So
I'm
right.
gonna be good.
I was gonna say.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You can finish up.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm gonna take a notebook with me because I have a thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tally certain things when I see the movie, and I'm gonna base my critique on the movie based on that. I'm gonna base it on Godzilla airtime. I'm gonna base on the main actor's time. I'm gonna base a lot of things from my critique of the movie when I do mine, based on those things because I think that's important because I'm looking at the original Godzilla and the new one. I'm going to compare them to see in terms of the time of Godzilla being on screen and how he affects the storyline and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you.
No, that's right. So I know that the theme of this live stream was supposed to be like reviewing this year. So I know we spoke about when they started filming, when they finished filming. So here's what I want to know this from everybody. So definitely type it on the chat forum, you guys as well. I would just want to hear everybody's opinion on how they felt. How did you guys feel when they released another trailer at the Comic-Con this year, but we didn't get to see it? What was everybody's reaction? What did everybody feel?
I don't know. I really don't care. I'm not worried about. I'm not a person. The thing about it is, I say this for myself. I am not a person that worries really about trailers, because a lot of times what you see in a trailer might not be really what you're gonna get in the movie. Because the trailer's kind of like it's kind of like a collage. To me, of the movie, and a collage could be very abstract. And not exact. So trailers don't really, not seeing a trailer doesn't really bother me, honestly. Before a movie.
Josh?
I want to see it, man. I want to see Godzilla 2013 trailer, man.
So you basically cried. Is what
No.
you're saying.
No.
Very good. Just messing with you.
I was okay. I'm okay with it, but I'm a little bit frustrated because I want to see that trailer. 2012, I seen it. 2013, because the 2013 one are the ones from the movie, scenes from the movie, because Bryan Cranston was in the trailer. I want to see Godzilla's foot. I don't know what it looks like. Other people do. I want to see what the Mutos looks like in the color and the detail of it and the airport scene. That's the thing. That's one of the trailers I really want to see.
Okay, so
it's just interesting. I don't want this. I don't want people to describe it. I want to see it. Because people described it 2012 one.
I was pretty livid because 2 years in a row we got teased. Well, we didn't get teased. Comic-Con at least saw something. We didn't. I think year one, that's fine. I think the second time around, I thought they should have released it to the public. And the fact that nobody left the Hall H 2 years in a row with any leaked footage, I mean, they must have fucking had CIA up in there. I mean, they must have had the fucking FBI. How do like 5,000 people in a Hall H, or however many people can be held in there, and with modern technology and all the fucking mobile devices in the world, and not one goddamn motherfucker left that hall with some footage? What did they fucking frisk people and take their shit? What did they aim guns at their dicks and threaten them that if they fucking filmed anything, they were gonna shoot their dicks off? I found it unbelievable.
That there does exist a thing that you could block cell phone signals, right?
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I know that, but it doesn't. If you block the cell phone signal, you can't make a call. You can't text. That doesn't mean you can't film.
Oh yeah, but the thing is that people want to, it'd be harder. I mean, if you could have a signal, you could send it out real quick. But if you have the camera there and somebody catches you with it, they could take the phone from you. Whatever. Maybe that's what they told them. If you film, we're gonna take the phone away.
No, and that's what I heard they were doing. But how? Yeah. What did you have like a security officer for every person in that hall? I mean,
well, no,
don't get me wrong. It's an excellent job by whoever was security, but I found that hard to believe that nobody left there with any kind of leak.
I mean, the way they do it, I guess the last convention I was in New York, and they had a showing. Man, what was that? It was it was Fantastic Four. They had a preview of Fantastic Four when it came out, and they were pretty strict. You couldn't film nothing, and they had a whole bunch of people and undercover people in there, and they were walking around looking at people to make sure they didn't film anything. So it could be the same thing they did here,
Yeah, no, Jack. I'm sure they do. I'm not saying that they don't do those things. What I'm saying is, if there's like a couple thousand people in there, and there's maybe 30 guards, I mean, somebody had to get away with it. There's always somebody who. I mean, the Spider-Man trailer got recorded and leaked, so I mean, it's possible. I mean, they just the security must be for that trailer must have been incredible.
Or people were too awestruck that they forgot to film. That could be
Yeah.
the fans, you know, because you know those people, those things, are diehard fans. So it could have been too. They were like blown away by it, and but you know we have a lot of the trailers. I mean they're exciting. I mean you can't say they're not. I mean even though some of them are terrible, they look horrible. Now you can see the first leak trailer in HD. You can find it, people have, but the second trailer, that sucks. So I don't know. I like I said, I'm gonna wait to see the trailer in the theater, and then I'll be satisfied. Really seeing these trailers right now, I'm really not satisfied by it, but they don't bother me. But it doesn't satisfy my curiosity because really, the new trailer probably is gonna be a little, maybe a little variant, different, and it might give you a different feel of the story that you didn't see before. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And if it does, then it might look to you different, and then you're like, man, this is totally different. I understand, kind of thing, I should have had a V8, look, kind of thing.
I will say one thing. At least next year, in my opinion, there's some good movies coming out to hold us over until Godzilla. Because if this year, for me, in my opinion, was a shitty year for movies, outside of like Man of Steel, Pacific Rim, and a couple of other select titles, it wasn't a good year. But next year you got like Captain America: The Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? You got, for anyone who's interested, I, Frankenstein looks okay. I mean, I like Aaron Eckhart, but I don't know about that movie.
May is the break. May is like when it really starts.
Well, even before May, I mean, you got
March.
Pompeii.
You can say
I want to go
March.
see Pompeii.
Captain.
I like Kit Harington. I think he's a decent actor.
Pompeii, yeah.
Pompeii looks good. There was a couple others that I was mentioning earlier to somebody else. God, what's some of the other flicks that are coming? Oh, the new 300 movie, Rise of the Empire.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good movies coming out, at least that way before.
Transformers. Transformers is at the Super Bowl trailer.
Well, Transformers comes out afterwards, but yeah, I want to see that too.
Oh, and then the new buzz on the Defenders of the Universe. I want to see that.
Galaxy? Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's supposed to come out in August.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, that seems like very good, and that's starting to get a little buzz, They're saying it's going to be pretty good.
Oh, yeah. So, at least we have some stuff to hold us over. All right, so we got the Comic-Con trailer. After everybody calmed down, everybody was butthurt for a while. I was butthurt, hardcore. Like, I just felt like I took it with no fucking lube. It was that bad. Like, it was pissed me off so bad.
Yeah.
So then we got the leak on October 4th. Then we got the second leak on October 9th. Then that's when all hell broke loose. Then prediction heaven started. Actually, I'm going to plug myself here. On September 24th, me and Brian Crockett predicted that Godzilla would be in front of The Hobbit. I just want to mention that. So, and I do it all the time.
He wants to rub that in.
Yeah, I gotta keep saying that. So, so then November 3rd. Now, I never, that one I didn't really go, like towards the end, towards getting closer to November 3rd, I started to buy that. But I wasn't so disappointed when it didn't happen because I wasn't really expecting it. But I do feel that Warner Brothers dropped the ball on a golden opportunity. I've said that plenty of times. I want to know what you guys think about that.
So I totally agree, man. I mean, it would have been a perfect time to, I'm not saying a trailer, but they could have done something like maybe get the actors or one of the actors or maybe Gareth to put out a small video like he did, when he was filming, saying, "Oh, today since we're making this movie, I want to wish Godzilla a happy birthday." People would have gone crazy, bro. They would have gone crazy. Just that would have drove people crazy. Like, yo, man, this is awesome. I want to go see Godzilla. Gareth is cool. All kinds of stuff would have happened.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
I think they should, like you said, maybe a website or at least something. The only thing that I saw that Legendary did was say happy birthday to Godzilla on Twitter. That's the only thing I saw.
And late in the day.
That was such a slap.
Yeah, late in the day.
And I know said it because a lot of people complain. Let me tell you, a lot of people send me hate messages. I was one of them. I said, I can't believe that you guys are not wishing happy birthday to Godzilla. You were making a Godzilla movie. I sent a message to them that you guys are making a Godzilla movie and you're not going to wish Godzilla happy birthday on his birthday?
Yep.
Somebody's dropping the ball here in your advertising department.
No shit.
Warner Brothers didn't say anything.
I never got an answer, but I did send them a message.
Warner Brothers hasn't said anything. I guess they don't care. Oh, dude, you should have.
But you know, it's sad to see because you know. But the thing is that we're the fandom of Godzilla. We the fans, we are passionate about it, and I guess you know they don't see it the way we do. You know, we gotta face that reality. You know, these guys are executive. They probably don't even like Godzilla. You know, we gotta face that reality. You know.
I'm trying to catch up with the channel here.
Alright. What do you guys think of the trailer the interview with Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Olsen when they were showing all the 3 movies interview? What do you guys think of the interview?
I don't think you know what? If I've seen it, I can't quite remember it at this point. I might have seen it a while ago.
Mm-hmm. I've seen so many things. I got stuff going on over stuff, and you know, the interview I remember is the Gareth interview that he did. You know, the recent stuff. I'm stuff I blanked out of.
So this was one when he says that the theme of the movie is based on nuclear energy, and we try to nurture nuclear energy, but Godzilla teaches us that it can't be controlled, and he teaches us a lesson how nature can't be controlled. And Elizabeth Olsen says it's not like she's not always looking up to the sky, and it's not like a crane going over her head, and it's like basically the movie's based about if this really happened, this what would happen in the movie. That's basically what she said.
And that makes total sense. I think if we're expected to see a movie like, oh, everybody knows that Godzilla's coming, no, Godzilla's gonna show up and nobody's gonna know what's gonna happen until just like in 9/11, it took a couple of days before some other people even knew what happened, and that's what the same thing's gonna happen in this movie. Godzilla's gonna show up, tear shit up, and then maybe a couple of days later, maybe some people might know, and still some others might not even know what's going on. You know, which I think that's gonna be. I think to me that's important because that makes the movie even more realistic in the sense of that part, at least.
Yeah, just responding to Brian. Brian, I'm talking more about like summer blockbuster action movies. I'm not really talking about the good drama movies that I think you're referring to.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like major blockbuster movie, like the superhero genre, action adventure type deal. It's not really the Oscar competitors like 12 Years a Slave, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
What's another thing? I don't know if you know this, Rob. Elizabeth Olsen said the 2014 Godzilla is going to be way darker than the 90s. One of the interviews there was.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that we're about to hit the 2-hour mark.
Yep. Look at this guy. So we just watch you guys talk. LOL. I'm like, no, you can go into a corner and jerk off. You know.
But we've been doing this for 2 hours, and I think we've answered a lot of questions, and we're gonna do this more. Naturally, we're gonna get an opportunity to do another one. Me and Rob have some plans for the beginning of the year. We can't say much about it, but we got our stuff coming to work. Other people working with us and doing other things, and we're gonna surprise you with a lot of great content coming up next year. And follow us. Spread the word. Show us love, man. Let me tell you, we work hard. A lot of people think we don't, but we do. We have our own lives, and it takes a lot of work to keep a website and a channel going and trying to do videos and stuff. So show us some love. Show the guys, check out the pages, check out the videos, like us, sub us, and spread the word. Because let me tell you, there's not a team like in terms of us, there's not a team out there like us. Everybody, all the other sites, they keep for themselves the stuff, and we love to share everything we do. We share with everybody, and I think that's something that you can say about us, that we share the news with everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from.
Oh yeah,
we share.
We know that. I share all the time. Sharing is caring, guys.
So, you know, the minute we know about it, we let you guys know, and that's the way we work here. You know, either Rob said something out, or I say something out, and or Josh gets something out there. So, but we we always do that. Mm-hmm.
Yo, ET shares me with stuff. I share stuff with Damien. It's a cycle. It depends who has it first. You show me stuff. I show you stuff. Like it's just like a non-circle of like telling us information. You guys, when I get information, you're the first two people I usually tell. Right away.
So, any last questions before we end this exciting live stream that we have for 2 hours? I didn't know where it seemed like it was only an hour.
Godzilla.
On there, any last questions?
Yeah, just give it a couple of seconds to cycle through, and we'll see if something pops up.
So, if you have any last questions, let us know now before we go.
Look at Jacob Hill trying to mooch off fucking subs. Jacob, I told you got to make videos. Make sure to look at him. Make sure to sub me. He didn't do a fucking thing this whole live stream. He wants subs. What are you out of your mind?
Dude, like I have 187 right now, I believe. 187. So.
Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it.
I don't know exactly what Rob has in mind in terms of the channel, but in terms of my channel and my website, I have a lot of great stuff coming up. I got a lot of great interviews. I got some awesome stuff coming down the line. Keep in mind that my site is gearing up to change a little bit. I love Godzilla. I don't mind talking about Godzilla all day long, but I also wanted to cover other films, genres that I love in terms of, you know, the history and stuff and talking about them. And I'm going to start opening that up. But at the beginning of the year, I'll start, you know, revving up other things besides Godzilla. I am going to keep Godzilla. I am going to talk about Godzilla. But I'm also going to talk about other giant monster gender films besides the Japanese and from other countries.
Demon Dragon of Earth wants to know if any of us have heard of Kaiju Combat. I think I've heard of it, and that's probably as far as it goes. I don't think I've even seen it. You know, so I can't. You might have to educate me on that. I don't know if Damien or Josh are familiar with it.
Yeah, I seen it actually. The Kaiju Combat is, I think, the brainchild. One of the brainchilds that is Matt Frank, the famous Godzilla artist. So he's part of that, and some other artists and some other people that do stuff. And it's just like kind of like a pool of the monsters fighting, and they battle against each other. And then they go up in rank until they have a final battle. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I liked it. I seen a couple of stuff on there, and I liked it. It's a pretty good idea. So.
Yep. So Kamakoa, yeah. I mean, yeah. Sorry, dude. We started this at 9 p.m. But if you want to go through the replay, I mean, it's going to be up on the channel, so you can watch it at any time at your convenience.
Yep, exactly. So, and we're gonna post the replay and everything, so you guys can see it anyway. So you guys will get to see it. If you missed something, and if you have any questions or something that you heard anything and you want to answer it, you just send us an email. You guys can contact us anywhere. You can contact us anywhere. We all have channels, and you know our websites, and email us.
Facebook too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
All right, is that it then, Rob?
So
we can end this?
You post links. Yeah. You could email us the link, Demon, for that. Email or inbox us. I think you can. Can you link in inboxes? I think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually you can. So why don't you send us an inbox and give us the link, and we'll check it out. So it looks like that's pretty much about it. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Jedi, for the nice compliment. Appreciate that. Vincent, it was nice seeing you here on the live stream. Look forward to getting to know you better. And of course, you know what? One last thing I want to say, and I know I said this in one of my videos, but since I got you guys here now, I just want to thank everybody that I didn't get an opportunity to contact, who have gone out of their way and taken their time to actually find my new channel. I've been up and running for 3 days, since Tuesday, so this is day 4. And I've got 225 subscribers, and many of you have returned from the old channel, so I want to thank you guys, the ones that I didn't contact, who kind of stumbled upon and found me, and also for you guys watching the videos. My latest video, I mentioned how it was kind of heartbreaking that all my old videos disappeared off the rankings, And just today, I looked at the rankings, and two of my 4 Godzilla videos are back on the first page. Thanks to you guys, I appreciate it.
Awesome. Oh, and I almost forgot. I didn't do the raffle live. I did the raffle. I did do the raffle privately. I'm sorry. I got a little bit. We had some technical difficulties, and I just didn't want to make it even harder for us to get the conversation out there. So I know who the winners are, and I'm gonna make a video for tomorrow announcing the winners, so you can and contact me with your information so I can send you the gift cards that I have planned. Remember, one winner is the people from the channel on YouTube, and another winner is from my page on Facebook, which is Godzilla Fans Universe G on Facebook. That I picked the winner from the people in there. So there's 2 winners, and I'm gonna announce it tomorrow. Okay.
All right, awesome. All right, guys. So one last thing. Tomorrow night at 10 p.m. I will be doing a live stream with my man Jacob Hill, and he's been trying to. We've been trying to get together for a while. We haven't really had time. He has school. I have work, and my wife and my kids, and YouTube and all that. But we're gonna do it tomorrow night. It was a last-minute thing. It's gonna be a fun thing. I'm gonna get my drink on. So if you want to see me get fucked up, just come check it out tomorrow. That's a request from Brian. Brian requested I get drunk on a live stream. I didn't want to do it with this one, but I'll have some fun with Jacob because he's my little man. So,
well, I'm definitely gonna be there. Oh, and please let us know what you think, guys. We did this for you guys. Give us your opinion, what you thought we talked about, and we're gonna do it in the future. So send us messages. Put them down there on the video, and give us ideas of what you want to see, and we'll definitely work on that. We have a lot of things planned, and if you want to see something, send us a message or post it right here with the video, and we'll see what we will do. Okay?
All right. Oh, and
all right, Rob.
All right, Damien. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun. So we definitely got to do it again very soon.
Yes, we do.
All right. And Garrett, just to answer your question, I did put up a channel update video yesterday. Today I posted my PlayStation 4 review because I've had it for 3 weeks now. I don't think there's going to be any more videos tonight, but with me, you never know. I'm so random. So, but in terms of what I definitely have scheduled for next week, I have a how-to video doing computers. I'm going to do a lot of Walking Dead next week. So if you're a Walking Dead fan, that'll be for you to watch. And obviously anything Godzilla related. But I'll keep you guys posted. I put up a channel update at least once a week so you guys know what to expect. So, all right, guys. Josh, do you have anything before we go?
Not really. Thanks, guys, for doing this live stream. Appreciate it. There'll be more live streams coming to date. More breaking news probably will happen in a couple of days. There's been a lot of breaking news lately, like 2 days in a row. And that's about it. Subscribe.
All right.
Okay, guys. Have a good one, and we will see you next video.
Stay in school.